Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on Big Idea. Now, unemployment in Kenya is slightly below 10%, which is not bad compared to countries across Africa. What remains of concern, however, is unemployment among the youth. Why are so many youth unemployed? We're going to be addressing that here today on the program, and to help me break down this issue, right next to me is Samson Mungatia, who is an educationist. Welcome. And the lady over there is Elizabeth M. Louiser, customer care practitioner. And on the far end, we have Jonathan Wambua, an entrepreneur. Welcome, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So when we talk about unemployment, and this is a topic that elicits a lot of emotion, because people are like, watu wanataka kazi. And for the longest time, all our leaders will we take back, even from our very first president, from Jomo Kenyatta down to Moi, then to Kibaki, now to Uhuru, a promise of jobs to the youth. That is always part of the manifesto.
Yeah.
But why are Kenyan youth still unemployed? Yes, Samson.
Well, I think it's a combination of many things happening. One, failure of the government in terms of policies. Number two, mismatch of, in terms of supply and demand of labor. You find there is oversupply, like in case of graduations, we're graduating so much than we can take. And then we find also we have not done market research. So most of the degrees are either not market driven or they're not informed by the need. So you find we are graduating graduates who are not needed in the market as per se, because there is shifts in the market that needs to be focused onto. And then, of course, the third thing is the historical issue. You know, it's something that has been there for so long, so it's a backlog of issues that have not been resolved from the first government, second government, third, and now where we are right now. So it's something that needs a kind of a multi-dimensional approach. It's not something you can say it's just specifically this or this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and Elizabeth, maybe you can just tell us, you are a customer care practitioner. Is that what you studied?
As of currently, I can say that is not what I studied.
Mm-hmm.
Personally and career-wise, I'm a sociologist by profession, a HIV counselor, and I also do farming. And the reason why I decided to go for customer care, it is because with the common state in the country at the moment, we don't have enough jobs. As a youth, if I sit down and wait until the time I'm going to get a job for my career or for what I took as a study, I'm not going to get it. So I decided I'm going to start somewhere. With time, I'm going now at least to get my career. Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
It's pay those bills.
Yeah. So long as you put food on the table, you're good to go. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and I'll bring you in, Jonathan, at this point. You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So how did you get to start the business?
First and foremost, thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure to be here. And the reason as to why I ventured into business world, it's because there is no employment currently. I looked for job for like 3 years without any fruits. So I decided to come up with something that I can employ myself, whereby I can be my own boss. Mm-hmm. That is why I entered into the business world.
So you tarmacked for 3 years?
Yes.
What was that like? So you used to apply 10 jobs a day, because they say...
In fact, there was a friend who was operating a cyber cafe. It came to a point whereby when he saw me, he could just do the services for free, because they'd done a lot in the cyber cafe. Mm-hmm. So it was very hectic, because I believe that currently, if you cannot have any connection, there is no business, there is no employment for you. That is what the people outside there are saying. Yeah, yeah.
And Samson, there are over 50,000 graduates every year that hit the market. So then jobs are very competitive in this country. Mm-hmm. So what do people need to do differently?
One, I think we need to go back to what I was mentioning about the education sector. The biggest, I will just give an example, because before I got on to do what I was doing, I was in finance sector. I just want to give just an example with one degree course. Somebody goes and does actuarial science at the university level, so they graduate, comes out and they think I'm actuary. But when they come out, they find the industry doesn't recognize a Kenyan degree only. Same case with accounting. You have to have a CPA. The actual science, you have to do some UK-based papers, like almost 12 of them at a cost of close to $500,000 or so. So I find there is that mismatch in that when you went to the university to do maybe even law, you have to go back and go to Kenya School of Law. And then when you went for the degree, you were very sure that I'm getting out as a lawyer, I'm getting out as an actuary, I'm getting out as an accountant. But the reality of the market is that they demand something more than that. So that's one of the areas that people need to look at as you're going to take that course. What is expected after that course? Is it a direct market course, or it's something that you are going to go for maybe a diploma or a certificate or a certain special sitting of a paper for you to be certified to operate in that area? Then secondly, come out with an open mind. Because as it is right now, the environment is very competitive, things are happening there. Go to the university, get the exposure, get the knowledge that you need to have, but as you come out with that mind that I'm willing to learn. That's the biggest thing. How are you going, how willing are you to learn new things? Because again, you're also dealing with the age of automation. You move out here, you find you can do careers, jobs that you never even learned for because it's automated. It's your ability to learn to operate that system that matters. So it's a question of many things, but one is about researching the degree that you're going to do, and then number two, coming out with an open mind in that whatever comes my way, I will take it, work on it, and then find my way as I stabilize.
So it's just not about, I want to become a journalist and I have to become a journalist.
No, because if you look at that landscape of I want to be a journalist, I want to be this, and these are just practical examples. As it is, given the technological drive and the change, it is also becoming, the careers are being redefined. You find most of the careers that traditionally went to do this degree and then go do this, people are doing even without that degree. Why? Because when you move out, for instance, when I was in the finance sector, is when you come out, somebody has done CPA, maybe up to CPA, they have done administration and all this, but walk into a company and find they have a system, they call it management system. So that system is neither accounting, is neither anything, it has a combination of all those things. So your ability to learn that system is what will make the difference. So when there's somebody who is coming out, they don't have a degree. For example, for me, I've done education, but I could work in the finance sector. Now, what mattered, what was of the most importance was the ability to learn that system, to operate that system. So that's what I'm saying, when you're coming out, come out with that open mind. Whatever comes my way, I will pick it and then I will change my direction as I go on.
Okay. Wambua, what did you study in school? Maybe we can just start from there.
Information technology. And I've used it as a form of employment. Because currently I've employed like 2 graduates. One has done journalism and mass communication. The other one has done education arts. So I decided to employ them in my institution so that they can at least earn a living. Because outside the world, there is no job at all.
Okay.
They have tried their best.
What was it like putting up the business?
It was challenging because first I approached some youth sectors so that they can fund my business, but it was very challenging because for instance, I can use a Youth Enterprise Development Fund, whereby I requested for a loan, but the requirements, I could not meet them. For example, they asked for a logbook, whereby, as a youth, I'm trying to make a living, I'm trying to create something and put something on the table, and they request for a logbook. How could you get that? So that is a form of telling you, go away, you cannot get a loan here. And it is somehow not appealing to the youth, because it means that the people who are rich will benefit from the loan. We youth who are trying to earn a living will not benefit from the loan, and it's set for the youth to benefit from it. Yeah.
Okay, and we know people who've been tamaking for many years.
Yes.
And we've even seen them features done on people who have, they're called degrees of doubt. People are now doing masonry. Watu wanajenga manyumba now because they went to school, but there's really not much they can do with the degree because the times are different. There are so many people with very limited opportunities. And Elizabeth, if I can just bring you in at this time. So do you feel like now that you're not practicing sociology, do you think that's a bad thing?
As of currently, I don't think it's a bad thing because I take what comes first. I've also tarmacked and I just decided that whatever comes, I'll take it first. It is because you get sometimes, I can get that sociology job, but now the employer is looking for experience. You see, maybe they want 5 years experience. And if they employ me, actually they're going to pay me a lower wage because of the experience that I don't have. So I decide that whichever comes, I take it. Then when the time will come, if I get an opportunity to go back to my track, I'm open for it. Yes.
And isn't it time maybe we talk about our syllabus? Say, I know right now we have the CBC that is hoping to change things around, because a lot of us, the kind of learning that we did, and you're specific to a certain career, and it has been harder for a good number of people to just venture out and explore, say, businesses, to get into new areas. So Samson, how we study, how practical are our syllabus?
Well, we have a big challenge on that. I think we have tackled it even before here, but to some extent, what I will say is we missed some point somewhere along the education system in that we started teaching people to become, we are training people like robots. That means if I'm training you to be a teacher, go to class and teach. And we tell them that content so specific that by the time I'm leaving that university, I only know of a classroom. I have no other experience. Yet, the purpose of education past Form 4, it should be to give you exposure, to open you up to opportunities, to thinking, and to creativity. But our education system currently doesn't encourage that, is because we have tailored it, or it has been made in a way that it is directing you towards a specific place, which is again a problem, because if you direct me to a specific place and I can't get a job there, I can't earn an income, I can't make anything of value there, then I get frustrated. So what it should be, and we are hoping the CBC will do, although it has already missed the track at the start, is that it is going to teach people not just to be job reliant or just to be guided to a specific job, but to be open. It is going to open people up to either talents, their capabilities, their potential, and then hoping that opportunities will be there. Because again, there is a question of, yes, I've come out, like Jonathan has said, there is a business opportunity, I have an idea, but do I have funding? Do I have resources? Do I have finances? Those are the factors that also come in, other than now the syllabus itself, how it is directing people. Yeah.
Okay. And Wambua, so as you started out your business, when you are hiring, there's graduates, you say you have 2 employees. So what were you looking out for when you're hiring?
Funny enough, Nancy, those employees are my friends. So that is where the connection comes in.
Makes sense.
I did not look for anything. I just called them and told them that because you have this and this, at least you can earn a living. And you can somehow start something out of you. And one of them, there came at a point whereby he decided to start his own business, and I had to support him with some machines, maybe one computer, one printer, and it is now going well. Let me come back to my friend's point of the new curriculum and the old curriculum. The CBC has done a lot. Sincerely speaking, it has changed the mentality and the life of the new learners who are now learning in school, because they are doing it practically, unlike us. Because there was if I can relate, I've never seen a reptile, but now the kids are being sent home for the pictures. So, okay, if it's farming, they are going practically to the shamba. Wanaenda kulima wenyewe. So at least huyu mtoto akigrow, anaona, so farming can earn me something. So my talent can earn me a living. So nikitumwa hii kitu inachangia this way, you see. But sisi ilikuwa theory, and that is why the job sector sahi kwa business ama kwa outside ya nini ya kikazi wanaangalia watu wa diploma sana ndo wanachukuliwa, because ama hizi technical colleges wanaabsorb watu wengi kuliko the graduates wenye wako na degree. Why? Because in the university you do a lot with theories, but in technical unasoma sana the practical part. So when I'm looking for an employee, ndachukua mwenye anajua practical, whereby ndaacha huyu mwenye anajua theory. You get my point? Yes.
Okay. And Elizabeth, so maybe I'd like to pick your thoughts on the job market, the way it is generally, very limited opportunities. What do you think the youth can do different?
Okay, the youth, first of all, they should just be open-minded. An open mind, Nancy, you are able to do anything. But if you have a fixed mind, like the way my friend has said, you are from university, you just know you did this and this, you just want that. We can never go forward. But the moment you are open-minded, Nancy, you accept anything that comes on your way, so long as it puts food on the table, you are good to go. There we can avoid things like using of drugs, because you see people who are employed, you get devastated, depression, you decide to go into drug abuse. We can avoid that. And then another thing which is killing us, the youth, it is just voluntary unemployment, whereby you see maybe your parents or your relatives are doing well, then you have in mind that when I grow up, maybe they're going to give me a share or anything. Then it happens like things backslide at the end, so there you go down with everything. Yes, so for us, for the youth, we are supposed to be open-minded and then be ready to learn. If you are ready to learn, you can conquer anything. Unawezaenda hata job ingine, you don't have the papers, you don't have the qualification, but the way you just present yourself, ama vile unajihumble na kunyenyekea, they decide you just get the job. Yes.
And they call us the microwave generation.
Yes.
Does this affect us when we're going out there to get jobs? Yes, Wambua?
Not at all. It depends with your presentation, as Lisa said. Because if you present yourself, but one challenge about with the companies is that they are looking for papers, not the skills that you have. Yes. So you'll be asked, drop your papers, we confirm your papers, those they will see this guy was the first class honors, so they will employ that guy, leaving the other guy who maybe has the best skills, has done everything for himself to get this job. So they will leave the guy with the practical skills and employ the unskilled person. Yes.
Okay, and I remember when I was setting out to apply for jobs, and my brother was telling me during his time, which he believes was a bit better than during my time, he used to wake up, I remember even he used to wake up in the morning, and even before he takes breakfast, he applies about 10 to 20 jobs. Then before lunchtime, the same amount, because he knew that these opportunities are very limited and there are so many people. So how can people just tailor-make maybe their CVs, or how can they get ready for, say, interviews in order for them to be at their best and be selected?
Well, I think job search is a whole job by itself. But again, we find another problem, because I've been in the corporate sector and I'm also dealing with corporates in what I do. Much of the training is in the corporate sector. Okay. The problem is that we find many people are not taught how to package themselves. You know, we went to school, you are taught how to write maybe a job application letter, but it doesn't end there. Very few courses that we've taken up to university are taught how to write a proper CV or a profile, even on social media, the social media platforms and everything. And because I'm mentioning this, because also recruitment is moving to social media a lot, particularly these are the professional social media like LinkedIn, people are picking people from there. So you find this problem of people can't package themselves. You know, there are people who have very good knowledge, intellect and capacity and everything, but then bring them to the interview. They have no skills in terms of communication. It becomes an issue. So for me, for everybody who is either graduate or are waiting to graduate, two skills are very important. Writing, the CV and profile, and then number two, you need to practice the interview, because it's another flop, an area where people flop. You go there. Now, before people can get a test of your skills, they'll have to test your communication ability. So if you can't present yourself, consider yourself out, because at the end of the day, before I give you that chance to come and show me what you can do, I want to hear you first. So if you can't convince me that you're capable, then the opportunity goes away. So it's important to prepare. And as far as you're looking for, I'm applying for this number of jobs maybe per day, or I'm going into this industry, then go and do that, the skill. You know, these are things you can learn, either from the internet. We live in an age of information. Learn how to write a CV properly and a profile, a personal profile. And then number three, learn those interview questions. You know, you may not learn all the questions, but learn how to handle yourself, how to express yourself, dressing, appearance, you know, all those things. Yeah. And because I'm mentioning the dressing because I have a friend of mine who is a recruiter, and she was telling me one time they were doing a recruitment, I think around 2 months ago, and somebody comes dressed shaggy and, you know, like this. Of course, this person has a first-class honors. But then again, remember, these are corporates that are looking for image.
Yeah.
Other than your knowledge, they also own the image. And this guy lost a job, the opportunity, and not because he was not qualified, but that arrogance and the way he presented himself was like, no, we don't want to be the face of the company. So go and learn those extra skills. They're not taught anywhere in the curriculum, but again, the issues or things that you can learn even for yourself online.
So there's so much more than just being qualified for a position.
Yes, it's more than those papers. In the shortlist, they will say, we want this, maybe a Bachelor of Education degree, this subject and this. They will give those qualifications. But then again, you as a person, you have to persuade them or convince them that to deserve the opportunity. Well, because you find there are people, and we can pick so many examples, particularly in the media sector, also in technology sector. We have so many people who are there without the papers because they can prove themselves. So that point of proving comes with how do you do your interview, how do you present yourself, both in terms of yourself and your papers, and then how do you package yourself. So that whole thing will determine whether you'll be given the opportunity to prove your point or you'll be denied the opportunity.
And I know there's a lot of pressure just for people to prove themselves. I know for young people, you're going out and you're told, what new thing are you going to bring? What new idea? What don't you think we have in this company that you're going to bring about? So there is a lot of pressure, and I want us to talk about that, but I understand we do have to take a very short break. Here on The Big Idea, we are addressing the challenge of unemployment among the youth in Kenya. Nancy Nalima here, don't go too far. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookup TV. The hashtag is Big Idea. Right here with me, Nancy Nalima, and today in the program we are addressing the challenge of unemployment among the youth in this country. You can engage with me and join in the conversation using the SMS number 20374 at Lookup TV on Twitter, Lookup TV on Facebook. Why are the Kenyan youth unemployed? Can we turn this around? That is a conversation we have right here in studio today. And Samson Mungathia right next to me, an educationist, Elizabeth right there, who is a customer care practitioner, and Jonathan Wambua, who is an entrepreneur. And just before the break, I mentioned about the pressure that comes with going for interviews, because there's so much expected of you. You have to stand out among thousands. And so you might feel that pressure so much that maybe you don't even do enough. I don't know, for the number of interviews that you went to, Liz, maybe you can tell us your experience.
Well, at first, as I started, it was a big tactic. I remember there's a time I went for one interview and the lady was very harsh until I even forgot my name.
You don't say.
She asked me, what's your name? I'm like, what's your name? So as time goes by, I decided now I'm going to always be trying. So the more you keep practicing going for interviews, you get acquainted to everything, the questions, expectations of the questions you're expecting to be asked at the interview. And then now you get the confidence. Now you can wake up and go for any interview. Yes, but at first it was very, very tough. Yes.
Okay, and Wambo, what was your experience like?
The interview wasn't successful because the lady I met at the gate was the interviewer. And my approach towards her was not good at all. So,
like the interview started right at the gate?
Yes. Oh. I never knew that. So I met this lady and I greeted her. Okay, I grew up in Kibra slum, so the language that we use it's not the language that I was supposed to use at the gate. So I met this madam and nikamuuliza ni aje maadhi. kuna shughuli interview hapa ndo nimekaa. So she directed me and told me to have a seat. After that minutes I was called in only to find that the madam was the interviewer. So she told me that I cannot interview you, so goodbye. That was it. I never went for another interview from then.
Okay, so yes. What lesson did you learn from that experience? The
environment contributes a lot to your professional, because if I never grew up in that environment, I could have used a better language to approach her. So the first approach, the person you meet at the gate when you're going for an interview, not even the gate, even in the matatu that you have boarded to the place. You may never know who is sitting next to you. Maybe it's the CEO of that company. True. So when you're going for an interview, not only interview, but all the time, use the best language that you can use. Yeah, because you don't know who is listening and who is watching. Secondly, the kind of social media names that we are using currently contribute a lot to your employment. Because maybe unaitwa Gulamu Mtanashati, and the interview has gone through your profile, Facebook profile. The kind of photos you post contributes a lot also. So your name should also adhere to the ID card. You cannot call yourself Gulamu Mtanashati and your national ID is Theophilus Musau, and you expect the interviewer to give you that job.
There's actually one that was making headlines. Let me just see if I can fetch it.
Yes.
There's a lady, right here, and her Facebook name is Nicki Minaj hajabeba kuniliko Bootylicious Nyambura.
Yes, that is that is a good example. And then you're supposed to employ that girl, and you ask her, what is your Facebook name? Will she respond to you? No, maybe atakwambia siko Facebook, ama akwambie, okay, give me your phone, let me see your profile. Akupe simu yake, then you see Bootylicious, sijui Nicki Minaj hajabeba kuniliko.
Becomes a little murky.
Yeah. So secondly, the email that we are using. Unajiita sijui a different name, then una apply the job using that email. Ule mtu imemfikia anataka kurespond to the email, so she or he will not respond to the email. Why? Because maybe uliomba mtu simu ukatuma hiyo CV na hiyo email. So you have to use our correct names when writing emails, and also the emails themselves should contain our names.
Okay.
Yes.
So Samson, what I'm getting from that experience that Wambua had, of course, there's more that, like we have said, there's more than just qualification. So social skills, that may not be taught so much in school, but also now it's something that we need to talk about, because a lot of people, they have the qualification, but they're losing out on opportunities just because they're not, as he said, he grew up in a different environment, but now he has to work on that in order for him to be employable.
Yeah. I think one thing to summarize Jonathan's experience is branding. You know, when you hear brand, you think of Coca-Cola, Safaricom, you know, these big names. But branding also comes to personal level. How you present yourself as a brand. You know, the purpose of a brand is consistency. So when you're talking about the social media, and this again, it's an area that people are losing a lot because employers are also turning to social media. I've mentioned an example of LinkedIn, which is a professional website. However, you're going to find employers are there, and you're there, you're posting your things, and so the things that you write means a lot. Now, not only for that day of the interview, because also people can vouch for you based on how you post on social media. Because again, for example, you want to recruit a customer service, and then when you go to your photos and whatever you've been posting on social media, insults, and, you know, and all these things, and now you're going to be receiving phone calls and doing all these things. You are the face of the company. We can't take you in. You're qualified, it's okay, but we can't take you in. So it's a question of how do you brand yourself. Brand yourself consistently with where you want to go. Now, if you want to become a rapper, a musician, and do all those things that relates to that, but don't do these things. You're posting them on social media, and again, you want to go to a corporate office. You want an office job, kind of. So whatever you're posting on social media, how you're branding on social media, how you are naming yourself. He has talked about the email, the kind of emails that we're using, the names in the email. Let them show some level of professionalism. Yes. Now, number two skills that I've mentioned, one of the skills that we need to learn is public speaking, because again, public speaking cuts across from interviews to convincing people in a crowd. Yeah. You know, how you talk, because there's talked about talking at the gate. And how you talk really determines whether you're going to be given that access or that point or not only for that day of the interview, but everywhere. You know, we have people who are like parrots. and they are parroting wrong things again.
Yeah.
So you go talking wherever you are, you never know, your next employer might be the next person sitting next to you. And if they perceive you in a wrong way, remember it's a question of perception. You could be a very good person, but if you can't create a good impression for me, if I perceive you wrongly, whether you are good or bad doesn't matter. What matters is the perception that you create. So you have to be focused and intentional in terms of branding, and then develop these skills. Because, as I said, we are living in the age of information. You know, long time ago, people could have excuses. You went to go to school to get some knowledge, that kind of knowledge. But today, go to YouTube, you find people teaching you about public speaking, you find people teaching about interviews. Check anything on YouTube, you'll find it. So you have no excuse to say, you know, I don't have this skill because of this, because again, you're not getting it for professional level, you are getting it for personal gain.
Yeah.
So go ahead, search for that information, because far and beyond your papers and your qualifications and everything, these soft skills are the ones that are going to open the doors for you to prove your academic prowess.
So you just need to constantly work on being better.
Yes.
Okay. And one of the areas that the youth have been encouraged to go into is the tech and agriculture. So as opposed to just sitting around and waiting to be employed, you know, you can create those jobs. Like Jonathan over there has created an opportunity for himself and even an opportunity for others to get, you know, something at the end of the month. And agriculture, Liz, you mentioned you do agriculture on the side as well.
Yes.
But so how easy or difficult is it for young people to get into farming?
It is not hard, Nancy, for young people to do farming. Let's say maybe if you don't have a land, probability of maybe your parents or you have a land back in the village, don't leave that land to stay idle. If you don't have something, you can go and start even taking the skuma wikis, kunde, nyanya, you go and buy, and then you come and plant. After that, you maybe look for, yani itajiuza tu. People on the area will buy, you will also get, your friends can support you, unaweza kukipeleka other places kuziuza. It's not hard to start farming so long as you're just committed and then you are ready to move forward. You can also venture into chicken. I also rear chicken. You can put, hata sungura unaweza uza. Kwanza sungura iko na market kubwa sana. Youth hawajagundua sana. Wengi wanauza kuku sana, lakini wakijaribu sungura iko na market sana. Even it's urine only for 20 liters you can sell. That bag for 20 liters you can sell for around even 3,000 shillings. So farming is not hard.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm getting is it's more about the initiative.
Yes.
Just to push yourself to actually do it.
Yes, yes. You don't have just to sit. You can get something and do. Yes, and then that one is free if you don't like being supervised. Hiyo ni shamba yako. Ni wewe utaamka uende, you control everything. So that is the advantage of it. Yes.
Okay, and Wambua,
Yes.
we know that in this country, not to be tribal or anything, but people think the business-minded people are Kikuyus, and most recently, Kisis are taking over the tattoo industry. And so those are the aggressive ones. And the other tribes, they may be a little laid back. But now these are tough times. So what would your advice be?
Hakuna mtu hawezi fanya biashara, Nancy. It depends with your mindset. The moment you set your mind and you say, I want to do this, you'll make it. Because ukisema biashara ni ya Wakikuyu, it sounds ni kama, okay, all the parastatals, all the companies are owned by Kikuyus. You can start from small na una grow pole pole. Kama venye Liza amesema analea kuku. Na sahi I think hakuanza na kuku 1,000. Alianza na kuku maybe 2 na sahi hatujui namba yenye ako nayo, but probably zimegrow. So chenye naambia youth waanzishe biashara. Usitegemee kuajiriwa. As I was talking to my friend here tukijuana, ameniambia alikuwa employed but alikaquit. Akaanza biashara yake mwenyewe. And to be sincere, amegrow. Venye alianza si venye sahi yako. Amegrow. So youth, tuangalie, usikubali wewe waajiriwe forever and ever. At least, hata kama ni kukuwa employed, look for capital, start your own thing. Hata wewe mwenye amekuajiri alianza somewhere. And also you can also create employment opportunities for others. So let's focus on self-employment first.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Samson, and the self-employment. We know, of course, it comes with a lot as well, because there could be the question of capital and just getting into the market for people to know you, know your brand, know the business exactly, to get investments potentially. So there is this young person who has been tamarking for a while, and they just want some form of direction or guidance. What would your advice be?
Now, for me, my advice to any youth out there, you're tamarking or you're about to start tamarking, my point is two things. Number one, don't be choosy, because that's one thing that is messing up the youth. You know, I move out of the university and I'm like, unless I get that office job, I'm going to do nothing. Yes. So you're choosing the job which you don't have, again. So don't be choosy. And then number two, avoid that entitlement mentality. You know, you move out here like anybody owes you anything, nobody owes you anything. You owe it to your life to succeed. If you can do with those two things, again, now it becomes very easy to look at it from different perspectives. You will see what I can do, what I can't do, this and this, depending on the abilities. But if you have that entitlement mentality of like, I'm going to move out, go to look up TV and I have to get a job there, it's like they owe you the job, then again you're missing it. And then that element of choosing, you know, you don't want to do this. I will mention, for example, for me, when I moved out of college, the first place, because I wanted to be in a corporate setup to do what I am doing right now, but I knew I wanted some experience in the corporate setup, I went for sales job. Now, sales job is the easiest to get. Walk into an organization, tell them I want to sell your products, because it's very easy. I will give you my product, go sell, I pay you commission. If you don't sell, you don't get the money. Yeah. So it's the easiest job to get, although it is the hardest again to do, because at times, for me, I was in the insurance sector. And of course, it taught me a lot of things, one of them being perseverance and how to do it, because you're going to meet people, talk to people. Again, it also helps you to develop those skills. So to somebody who is out there, you're tamarking, you're about to finish campus, come out with the mindset that is very open, knowing that nobody owes you anything, and then knowing that whatever lands in your hands first, start with that. Then find your way out of it after you have already pinpointed a starting point. Yeah.
Okay. And we cannot talk about employment and unemployment and not talk about leadership. And so politics definitely comes into play. So young people constitute over 75% of the Kenyan population. So what about young people and taking leadership positions so that they can be in a position to influence and be in charge of the distribution of resources? Is leadership, politics, your interest? I can start with you, Liz.
As of currently, I'm not so much into politics, but in a group of politicians, I enjoy and even contribute much. But as a youth, I think youth, we should be given an opportunity to venture into politics. Perhaps them being on the ground, they can be an advocate for all the other voices of the youth. Maybe for the youth, they relate so much with their fellow youth, they understand everything. You know, our elders are wamepita. If you try explaining, they might tell you, ngoja, we'll connect you or anything. But you, as a fellow youth, you understand. You know, maybe your village mates, they don't have jobs, they lack everything, they are in the poverty state of level, there's so much corruption and everywhere. So you being a leader, by being a youth, you can advocate for their rights and even more opportunities. Yes.
Yes, Jonathan.
Yeah, in Kenya, you cannot be a politician if you're not an investor. Because at the end of the day, the people you are asking for their votes will need something. You say, siwezi kuja hapa nikwambie need your vote, na kuletea shida za mtoto wangu somesha. So at least you have to be an investor, ukuwe na pesa, ukuwe na pesa mingi. In fact, wacha niziite pesa mingi. Kwa sababu during the campaign session, you'll lose a lot. Yeah. For example, there is this agenda that they brought the other day, ambapo wanasema if you need to be an MCA, you should have at least 20 million, I think, right? So, how do you expect me to have such amount of cash, whereby I'm trying to make a living?
Just going out into the world.
Yeah, I can be a leader. I can be a good leader, in fact, but I don't have the resources. That is the main challenge, why youth are not becoming the leaders, and we are told that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. And the tomorrow is not yet coming. I don't know when it will be. So, youths are leaders. Kuna vijana wengi sana wanaweza ongoza hii nchi vizuri, but we lack the resources. Yes. So if we're given the opportunity and the resources, we can make this country great. Yeah.
Yes, Samson, what are your thoughts on the same?
One, I think it's like Jonathan is saying, the cost of politics in Kenya is so high. It's so prohibitive indeed.
Yes.
And of course it is designed like that intentionally by the political class to just reduce competition at those positions. But again, for the youths, I would mention and say that we have seen some shift in the recent past. For instance, we have the the current youngest MP from Mau, I think it's Igembe Central, somewhere there. Yeah. Then the previous parliament, again, we had the youngest MP coming from Meru County again. Those two guys, at least I know they have campaigned without money. But again, to some extent, is a lack. That's what I will say. And also the environment that matters. So for the youths out there, the best that we can do for now is to mobilize and refuse being misused, because again, youths are being misused by these politicians. You know, they have the money, they will call you out, come and riot, throw stones, do all this. Now the moment you lay yourself to that level, nobody will listen to you. But if you could galvanize the youths and come out and say we want a bargaining power based on population, again, the numbers that we have as youths, and so we are not going to be used like this, we want this and this, we want the agenda to set the agenda, it will be easy. But it's a long journey. It's likely to take time, but let it be an individual initiative. Every youth stand up wherever you are, listen to those views, and as far as we may not run for that office for lack of resources, again, don't condone or support people who are running away with your future. Yeah.
Okay, and one other, of course, our economy has been adversely affected with the COVID-19 pandemic, and so, yeah, different industries are now trying to come up again. And it is also a very difficult time because it is easy for people to compromise, for young people to compromise because of the tough economic times. And, compromise on your integrity. And of course, there are very many social ills. Crime rate is higher because there are many jobless people. But now I'm talking about, say, young people like us in here. They're wash. There's some easier ways of making money which are illegal. But now, given these very difficult times, how can the youth stay grounded? Yes, Liz.
The youth can stay grounded by first them being empowered. They're supposed to be taught by maybe their mentors. They're supposed to seek mentorship, or they're supposed to socialize with others who are in better positions than them. Because the more you advance your mentality is the more you open ways. But if you stay confined in one place, like maybe you're socializing with the people of your same level, you won't grow because you will feel comfortable. Okay. Like there's a time we were doing a research on the prostitutes on the streets. We were actually speaking to one lady and we asked her, why are you doing this? She told us that she lacks everything and she has children to take care of, so that was the only option. And then there's another one who told us it is just what she likes. It is not that she lacks anything, it is just what she likes, it's just her lifestyle. So you see, we have like two ways. Others go for it willingly and others go for it unwillingly. So the moment we get empowered, we diverse our mind to better opportunities. Yes.
Okay. Yes, Jonathan?
No, first, mine is to ask a question. Who is there to empower the youth? Because easy, uzee ni ujana. Ujana ni uzee ni ujana. Because ukiangalia Nancy, siku hizi wazee wamekuwa wanataka kurudisha nyuma au kuwesa wao ndo vijana. The opportunities that are made for the youth are being taken away by the wazees. For example, there is this initiative that was started by the government of Kenya, that is the National Youth Service. Hiki tulikuwa na scandal mob sana kwa sababu the money was set for the youth and the National Youth Service is made basically for the youth. But at the end of the day, the scandal ililala kwa mikono ya the wazees. What does that one mean? It means that the wazees are very selfish to give us the opportunities that are made for us. So that is a very big challenge first. So in order to make youths better, we must empower ourselves first. Venye nani amesema, tunapaswa wewe mwenyewe ujianzie. Unaelewa? The moment you empower yourself and you empower your friend, your friend empowers your friend, his friend empowers, it will be a chain like. At the end of the day, even if it will take centuries, finally we'll have our say in this country.
Okay.
Yeah, we must trust the process.
So, and Samson, as we conclude, mentorship is one area that you have, you're an expert in, and that is what's lacking a lot across many youth in this country. So how important is mentorship, even as we close?
Now, one, I will say this, that we can't undermine the role of a mentor, because the people get mentorship, they get head start ahead of the rest. You know, the role of a mentor is just to hold your hand. They may not give you anything in terms of financial resources or anything, but they will give you the capacity. Because a mentor is somebody who has been through something in life, so they will save you the hassle of figuring out how do I go about this, because they will give you a blueprint. So you can't rule out the mentorship, but then again you find either based on our education system, our cultural values, and our society setup, we don't encourage people to seek mentorship. And in fact, you find now so many people are coming out of the university. Most people, if you may say the truth, of 98%, don't know about mentorship and they don't seek it. So you move out, you will hustle like everybody else. Yet there is somebody out there who could be willing, or who is out there who can help. So this goes back to the youth themselves. Take initiative. Go seek for people. I know at times it's a challenge. You may not get the right people or the people that you desire to mentor you, but move out. If you move out and go to a group of 10 people who at least have succeeded or excelled in the area that you want to go, or in life generally, talk to 10 people. At least I can tell you 2 of them will be willing to give you some advice, some guidance. So again, don't wait for someone to come and mentor you. You're waiting for government to start a mentorship program. I don't know which bank to start which. Yeah, because that laziness of you're sitting down waiting for it. So once you're out there, figure out where you want to go, then seek for people who have already gone there. Go talk to them. In as far as majority may not listen to you, but again, you won't lack somebody inside there who is listening to you and will give you a helping hand to go that way.
Okay, Samson Mungatia, an educationist, Elizabeth Louisa, a practitioner of, what is it again?
Customer service.
Yes. Elizabeth, and Jonathan Wambua, who is an entrepreneur. Thank you for being part of this conversation. And let's keep the conversation going across social media at Look Up TV on Twitter, Look Up TV on Facebook, and the SMS number is 20374. I am Nancy Lima. The conversation we've had today in studio is addressing the challenge of youth unemployment in the country.